I want to talk about being shadow banned. I don't even know what that word means, but I want to talk about it.
Oh, we're all shadow banned, don't worry. I probably am, I might be.
Well, not shadow banned. Okay, so this came up on a thread. Blackballed. Blacklisted. The Red Scare. So apparently if you return too many guitars at Guitar Center, you get flagged and you're blacklisted. Which, when I first heard this, I was like, I'm 100% okay with that. Because that seems like we all know there's folks out there, you might be one of them, that likes to buy guitars. This isn't perfect, I'm returning it. Buy another guitar, this isn't perfect, I'm returning it. Like, there's no guitar that's perfect. There's none of these things can be perfect. It's just not possible.
It's a sad but true reality.
There's always going to be something. It's wood, and then there's humans that make them. I beg to find the perfect instrument, but I guess that's not what this is about.
Not really. I will say though, I feel like you and I are both pretty good at calling. Oh yeah, this is coming back. When we talk to customers.
It is 100%.
Oh yeah, no, this is going to be returned. Don't worry, we know. We just know.
When we were shipping a guitar up, I had this happen like twice last week, I think, and I was working. Really nice people too, but they're like, well, no. They keep asking things like, I was like, sir, and I had one. I told them, I just don't want to sell this guitar because I pretty much 98% know it's coming back. Let's not do this. Let's just say we had the dance. We've done this for 2 hours. You know, through multiple conversations. Let's just call it a day.
Let's pretend you got the guitar and
then you already returned it.
We're crushed with anxiety and worry. You say that.
That's not what we're talking about. There were other great accusations went out and then it came back and I knew it was going to come. I just had a feeling, you know. And then the guitar is working perfectly when we got it back. I just needed to resettle. We got it back into condition. Beautiful, but that happens. I get it.
That's another video later, like working yourself up to like all these things are possibly wrong, and then you get the guitar and you're like, ah. But anyways,
the guy was super cool though. Awesome dude.
Yep. No. Yes. Most people are.
Yeah, some aren't though. Some are habitual returners, and that's where I was like, I got you, Guitar Center. I'm backing you up because they deal with habitual returners all the time. That just buy and I know about this from some of my friends from Wilcuts to Wildwoods to the zoo to up at Villa. I don't know if this happens at Sims a lot, but I've all heard the stories of like, oh yeah, we sell these guitars, these fancy PRSs, then we see pictures of these guys gigging with them, and then they want to return them.
Oh, and that sucks. That's different.
That happens a lot.
That happens, but
this is not what we're talking about.
Here's the thing about, I know that you're like, oh, get them, blah,
it's
blah,
just nice to be on
them.
Guitar Center's side.
Well,
I thought.
I'm not going to be. But here's the thing, right?
Well, I've never worked there.
Part of the allure, that's also true.
You're the pro.
Part of the allure of people buying things from Guitar Center is you are able to return them. And if Guitar Center immaculately maintained their guitars and like changed the strings ever or made sure they were set up, any of those things, cool. But I feel like when I walk into Guitar Center and I pick up guitars that generally in other places are great guitars, a large part of the time they're not in good shape at Guitar Center. So I can understand how you could buy 3 or 4 of the same guitars at Guitar Center and them just be totally, you know? Okay,
well, so the idea that this came from too is primarily from the pre-owned, the used stuff.
Right.
Which and I've always had a serious problem. I will jump on the bandwagon of not liking this part. I don't like Guitar Center, the way they handle their used stuff. It's the worst in the industry.
It's horrible.
It's the worst in the entire industry.
When I Google used stuff and the Guitar Center listings pop up, I don't even look at them.
I don't either. And you can find, I've bought some great steals at Guitar Center too through that.
You just have to go into the store because the online stuff, because there is no centralized system. Like somebody in the store is having to take pictures, is taking time away from when they can be selling. So most of the time they don't care and they just throw up a grainy picture.
Well, let's dig into that.
Yeah.
So if you live we're in North Carolina, if you go to the Raleigh Guitar Center, I think that's a pretty darn good one.
Yeah, it is.
We have a few other ones in the state that are not so good, but I think if you're lucky enough to be near the Raleigh shop on Capitol Boulevard,
it's very good.
Some good cats work there, some nice folks. It's a cool place. So I checked that. It sounds like it's snowing outside behind the studio.
There's good dudes working in almost all of them, you know, but there's only so much a good dude can do.
So how does it... So the whole idea is like a lot of people are getting these used guitars and they're not at all as described. There might be a broken neck or missing tuner,
or
the pickup doesn't work.
It doesn't work, yeah.
And they're returning them, and then that goes against you as a tick or as a flag or as a note. And then if you get a certain amount of those, you can be flagged as a problematic customer, and then no more returns allowed, or possibly like they don't ban you from buying. They want you to buy, but
of course. But you can't as freely return. Well, is this only used stuff, or is it everything?
I think it kind of crosses the board, but it starts with the used. That's the issue. So let's jump into how when you were at Guitar Center, how was that handled? How was the used stuff handled? Because we have a system here.
In fact, one of my friends was stuck doing this, and he hated it.
How did he get stuck doing this?
Well, you have to have your hand slapped for things. You know what I mean?
So this is like getting bathroom detail.
It almost, yes.
You're the latrines.
That's the way it appeared from Jonathan's vantage point. I was happily in the warehouse doing inventory and moving heavy boxes, so I didn't have to deal with it. But I mean, it's not like there is a used department. The sales team who's out on the floor, who's trying to sell things so they can make commission. And like in our case, it was pretty much one or two dudes. Like, used stuff comes in, he's got to go sort it out. We had this horrible little thing with like this sheet with a hanger where you hang the guitar. Yeah, I know.
I see it every time. And they're all different at every shop.
They take like one picture, maybe two pictures, and then no specs, no anything. This is a used blah 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 blah, and then that's it and the price.
It seems like it would be an easy solution. Like you have one wall in every Guitar Center that is just like in an office or something.
Exactly the same.
It's same. It's just like a black thing with maybe GC stuff behind it that you hang the guitar on.
Well, they did have
stool, you put the amp on it.
I want to say, I can't remember. I know there was a camera you had to use for the used stuff.
But that was back in the day when it was crappy.
I mean,
it's not even better looking now.
It's not even better looking, but yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure these systems have changed. Well, I also don't remember. I feel like that maybe the person who's having to do this gets a small something commission wise if those things sell. But I think for a time there wasn't. I don't know. I'm fuzzy on that. I don't really know.
Well, usually there's no descriptions besides like 1993 Fender Player Strat or something. That wasn't a thing then. But are these guitars all thoroughly inspected and gone through their courses?
I mean, again, if you knew that you were taking your time, that you could be making money or trying to make money, and you got all these things to comb through. I mean, yeah, you're gonna cursory go over them, right? But
because when we build the guitars out,
it takes time.
It takes time. Like it's not like it's just a form that's emailed us and just goes up.
Right.
We have to write everything out by hand on the computer, and then take pictures, do the videos, do a proper description of the guitar and its sonic capabilities. But no, I would almost put this as akin to side work at a restaurant.
Yeah,
like you got to roll the silverware.
I think that's a great. That's a great comparison.
It reminds me a lot of GameStop too. Like when GameStop's policies, when they get a disc, like, does anybody go to GameStop anymore? Weird. Like everything's downloadable. It just seems like an odd thing. But I still like going to GameStop. Never mind. All right, it's fun. The smell of sad teenage years and like
the lack
frustrated.
Of hope. Yes. At least the games are here for me.
And then those 30 and 40-year-olds with like the way too many zits still, just darkness.
I'll never have human contact, but
I don't need it.
I have
Elden
Zelda.
Ring is waiting for me. That boss was so hard, but I'm gonna beat him. No, but they get their disc and they don't play them to check to see if they work. It's your job as the customer to see if it works. And if it doesn't, when you get home, you just bring it back and say, hey, this didn't work. Like, cool, here's another one. Hopefully this one works. Like, can I check it out here? No. Maybe, I don't know if that's how, I hope they go through it, but maybe they don't totally. They just don't, because I wouldn't either if I was losing money maybe. Yeah. But I would because I have pride.
Well, I think they beat that right out of you.
First things first, pride is gone.
Yeah, if you're still there after 6 months, maybe that's gone. Just like being a professional musician.
Oh my God!
All your dignity and pride is gone.
Wagon wheel.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it. How much tip money you got there?
That's right.
I can play any song you want 30 times in a row.
I mean, I do think like when I was there was sort of the beginning of the rental program at GC.
Ooh.
Where you could rent amps and guitar. You could rent anything. And my understanding at the time was that part of that was because GC had this reputation of, hey, I'm in another town, I need an amp for the weekend. You go buy it, you gig it, you return it. And that was the rental policy. We'd joke about that being the GC
that is really funny.
Policy. But now, like when I was in Chattanooga, I had to rent an amp from the Guitar Center because there was no backline company. I mean, I'm sure there was, but no one found me one. So I went to Guitar Center, and it was super. It was like $40 to rent an amp for the weekend.
God, that was the thing I was talking about. Zach Person, the musician / band, whatever he is, when he just opened for Blackberry Smoke over last weekend, I think, and but he had the hardest time finding an amp because he had to fly from Austin to like Cincinnati or Cleveland, and that's where the 2 gigs were, and like he couldn't get in there. They were trying to scout it. He couldn't bring them with him.
Right.
He couldn't drive the 16 hours for the 2 gigs. It just didn't make sense time-wise. You couldn't get there in time. So it was, it was hard. It's hard.
Yeah, if you
couldn't
can't
go to
find
Guitar
this,
Center,
you
buy
can go
one,
to Guitar Center.
return it.
You don't even realize about. There is technically a rental department, and like I said, it was $40 for me to rent an amp for all weekend.
Awesome.
But all they had was a solid state orange and a Black Star.
Black Star it is.
Well, that's what I went with. It actually did great. It sounded fantastic.
Black Star's a good amp.
I was super happy with my tone.
Thumbs up to Black Stars and thumbs up to I like oranges in general. Like I'm not the solid states don't really do it.
That was like a crush, He's like,
No,
I got this orange crush, which I think they're like the pro crushes are fine, I guess, but I don't know. I just feel better when there's little glowing bits of glass in the back.
I mean, they don't do anything except for make us feel better, but I agree.
But it's comfort.
And we're coming up on Marcus King's birthday again because he was born in 1959?
That's right.
I think his birthday is November 1st, 19.
Speaking of orange, that was a great segue.
Thank you.
The Marcus, have you played one of those?
No, I haven't played his amp.
I feel like we should get one of those and just try it.
I would like one. If we were orange dealers, it would be so easy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even necessarily want to. I just want to hear it.
Side note, if you're still watching this and you are a Marcus King orange owner, let us know what you think about it.
I mean, surely it's got to be good.
And we think it's good. I have a Rockerverb 50 combo. Yeah, that's that thing that's sitting over there behind
It
the
gets
camera.
grossly
Underused.
underused here.
I plugged it in the other day and I forgot how good it was.
Yeah.
Because we got all these great amps, these great vintage amps, these great 2 rocks, and I always play those. And I plugged that orange, and I was like, man,
this is good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's like if you want that great saturated pushy tone, it's better than the other amps for that. Like for the screaming leads.
The thing it does really well.
The Rockerverb is an awesome. If you have one, kudos to you. I have one. I'm not getting rid of it. I got mine at Guitar Center in the used section in the store. I think I paid $1,100 for it.
It's heavy as sin.
It is so heavy. It's not as heavy as some of these amps, though.
It's true.
I feel like I feel like a Vox AC30 is just as bad.
Oh, it is totally.
I don't know, but it's got those big metal handles on that thing that you can move it. I love it. I think that's all we got. Like, if you got anything else on this?
No. So final verdict. You're okay with the banning the return? I understand where you're coming from because it is like a small shop can't absorb that, right?
Well, and neither can a large one, obviously, because they're in financial troubles again.
True.
Yeah, I don't know if that's your policy. Like, I get it, but like if you're, we'll see how Sweetwater fares throughout the whole thing.
Because I think Sweetwater took over there. Like, I order from Sweetwater because if it's not if I don't like it, I
Sweetwater,
just send it back.
they maintain their gear because it doesn't see the light of day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that
hyper sealed.
You're probably more likely to get a good. I mean, I hear the stories about I bought 4 of these guitars from Sweetwater, and I'm always like, they're probably all fine. But
well, there's that person. It might be you out there. That's like finds each little thing. This grain of wood is not to my liking. I'm returning this.
I didn't like the wood pattern.
I'd say that's your prerogative, but I also say it's not really good. I don't know. It doesn't seem nice.
Tricky. It's tricky.
It doesn't seem nice. I don't know. I'm just not that picky. I love all sorts of problematic guitars, though. I have like old Asian Telestar guitars that I think are great, and they are the worst necks ever. Pickups don't work all the time, but man, they're cool. I can't return it. It's from like a long decades ago.
It's so strange. That's
a weird guitar.
Bothers me on that guitar because it's not even angled back. It's angled that way. I don't.
It looks like
understand
it's broken or worse.
The physics of it shouldn't work. I mean, maybe they don't. I don't know.
That's like Z in the bedroom. Like the physics of that doesn't, because his skin is so smooth and he's so slippery, like a little just a svelte porpoise. The dolphin lover, Z. He doesn't make love to dolphins. He's just like a dolphin when he makes love. That's what I was inferring. You're welcome for that mental image. He's going to grab his wife and never watch this.
Don't watch this, please.
I don't need to know about this.
Please.
That's it. Click
so
like.
Many things I want to say.
Subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Thanks for joining us. I think this was a very fun topic and enjoyable conversation.
Super informative.
I think it was informative. We'll just know if you're that habitual returner, you're getting on the list.
Yeah.
And they're going to put you on and you might not be able to make films in Hollywood in the 1950s if you do that.
That's true. Blacklisted.
I was doing that sort of weird head shaky thing. I was doing a
Like a
show
bobblehead.
once. Side note, we're leaving. I was doing a show once when I was doing the Buddy Holly thing, running like this girl. Like she was in the front row. She was an older woman. She was like the whole time I was saying, I was like, God, she hates me. Like, and then we, it was like a 500 to 600 seat theater. It wasn't like the biggest thing. And then we finished and we go around to do the meet and greet after the show. And she comes out and she's like, I saw her. I was like, I hope you enjoyed the show. She said, I loved it. I was like, oh, you have a head thing.
She's got a thing.
Yeah. I thought she was just like telling me I was the worst the whole time. She's in the front row. I was singing to her the whole night.
Isn't that a thing? Like I've had that I know that we're ending. I know that we've already said this stuff, but you have those shows sometimes where you've got the person and they're like scowling and kind of shaking it. And then you realize they actually loved you. They're just really.
And sometimes they actually hate you too.
Well, that is true.
That's okay.
Sometimes.
Most times. That just got me. It broke my will. The whole show I was just trying to win her approval. It's like my marriage. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
I'm going home. My sad life.